Oh, it is time! Once again, if you watch Bloody Time, then you'll know why Brandon is being racist right now. Oh, it is time for Dynasty Warriors 8. Okay, I am Brandon, and I have here Nicky G. Oh, yeah. Goddamn. The Dynasty Warriors 8, I was really thinking, I was like, oh god, I wonder if me and Nick are gonna piss off anybody for doing that for basically the entire fucking first part of that video. Like, literally. And then I noticed the second part of the video, I didn't notice it at the time, but goddamn, the second half of the video, Nick's just doing half the time just, I was like, dude, seriously? That's half our video, is you going, wah. Oh, but yeah, it's the review for Dynasty Warriors 8. Oh, man. You ever play these games before?
Nope. Not really a big Japanese role-playing game kind of man.
This isn't a JRPG. I don't know what the hell this game counts as, because this game is, alright, people who may not have experienced Dynasty Warriors, lucky bastards. Dynasty Warriors is a game where you play as a general or a warrior or somebody, and you have your army, and then you're basically going up against other armies, and you're not an RTS, but you are in the middle of the battle, and you're doing these insane moves where you're slaughtering half the enemies, but it doesn't make, besides the people with names, as you probably saw in our Bloody Time video, if you haven't seen our Bloody Time video, go fucking watch it and then you can listen to the review. They'll just stand around. Literally, the enemies, I did it in the video where I walked up to a few of them and they just stood there. They just stood there and looked at me. I'm like, well, I guess we're okay then. And you're the only one. I scratched that. You're not the only one that can do anything on the battlefield. It's just, on your screen, you're the only one doing anything. Because off the screen, sometimes there'll be other things happening. And your teammates will do something when you're not looking at them. When you turn around and look at your teammates, they'll be kind of just standing there, maybe taking out one enemy. But overall, this game, yeah, it's kind of the game I wanted. I want a game where I could, I play as a warrior in the midst of a big old battle and I'm fighting hundreds of enemies. This game just didn't do it right. At all. Like, not even fucking close. I really don't, this game is exactly what I wanted. I've talked about this before, saying, oh yes, I want a game, you're fighting enemies, but it's just this, no. This game is more or less, Nick, just really bad. And I was saying before, I've told many people, I was like, well, I kind of lost trance in it, because when you're just killing literally hundreds of enemies at a time, you kind of just go into a state of mind where you're just on autopilot. I was playing this game on autopilot, because it was no challenge at all. I even put it up to the normal difficulty, and nothing. Nothing. I don't know what I was doing. Maybe I'm just really good at the game.
Well, it really is just that kind of Japanese game. Because you are just one guy in the midst of battle, and you're pretty much like just swinging this weapon and just hitting 5-10 people in front of you constantly.
Yeah. It's just, you're just swinging your sword, and you're just, I think I remember I took out 50 people at one time. I just, I did some weird power, and I was just like, yeah, and then they're all just down. I'm like, well, yeah, alright. The game, it gets kind of funny though, because sometimes, the developers may not have caught this, or maybe they did and they just didn't care, but sometimes they add so many troops on the screen that the game fucks up. The game, literally starts just, the frame rate just goes to shit, starts lagging on me. I'm just like, God, and it only gets better when I start taking out the enemies. And all the enemies look alike. It's like I'm finding, it was like Attack of the Clones, but,
If it couldn't just get more racist at this point.
Oh god, I didn't even think of it like that. I was just saying all the character models looked exactly the same. I wasn't saying anything. God damn it, I didn't even think about it like that. Oh, fuck, I'm done. If we had any Asian fans, they hate us white people. I'm the evil white man now. Jesus.
How is the terrain in this game? I don't think I've seen like one single tree.
There wasn't any trees. I don't remember seeing a single. If there were, there just like one tree just hanging out there. But goddamn, I don't remember a single tree. Shit. And they have back riding, which is god fucking. I mean, literally the only time I used the horseback riding is when I was just like, oh, my objective is really far away. I'm gonna call my horse out of nowhere, and we're just gonna run through the enemies, because they're not gonna do shit to me anyways. Can you believe there's 8 of these fucking games? I would never also suggest jumping into this one, because I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I jumped into this, and it was just like, oh, here's this character with crazy hair, and he wants to do this with this character. I'm like, I really missed something. Because, one, I don't remember any of their names, because it's not like they had normal names, like, I'm not saying they hadn't had names like Bob, Steve, Mike, but they don't have any names that are memorable. They're like, you, Winged Sun, they're none of them like Mortal Kombat where they're like Scorpion and, Shang Tsung, names that are memorable. These are just like, oh, yeah, his name's Wee. Alright. Or Wei, I don't fucking know. And there is one big problem I have with this game. One huge fucking problem, and I pointed out in the bloody time. Apparently you don't kill anybody.
From what I saw, there wasn't really even blood.
Nope. Well, this is a rated T game, so I accept the no blood. But, I mean, the enemies, it says in the corner, you're knocking them out. I'm like, well, I'm using a bladed weapon. I don't really get how I'm knocking them out.
A giant fucking bladed weapon.
No, this almost puts Final Fantasy to shame with some of the weapons you get in this game. You're just like, okay, seriously? And then, so you're knocking them all out. And then when you get to these bosses, like, I should put this in Cody fingers. When you fight enemies with names, you'll fight them, and then they'll just be like, oh, you have defeated me. I am retreating now. They all fucking retreat. I'm just like, okay, what is the point?
Well, that's so they can make Dynasty Warriors 8.
I guess.
And 9, and 10.
And so many, I amaze, you will be fighting these named enemies. You'll fight 12 of them in one map. And they all have their health bars and stuff. And there was only one time I had a challenge, but they give you a button in the game where you could just continuously walk up to him and counter and knocks him down no matter how strong he is. And that's all I did to him. I just kept walking up to him, boom, and he fell down, and I would attack him a little bit, and then he'd get up, start blocking, I'd counter him again. He couldn't even hit me. And then, even in the story, they don't kill anybody. Like, there's a guy who tries to assassinate the character I was being. Actually, well, one of the characters. And then we beat the assassin, and they're like, the main general guy just walks up to him. I like your style. How about you join us? I'm like, what kind of fucking bullshit is that? He tried to kill you. Kill him.
I think the only way I could forgive the knocking out is if they put Batman in it.
Oh, I know, honestly. If it was Batman just going up against hundreds of Joker enemies, that would be awesome. Or if they just went cartoonish with it, honestly. If I, would swing my giant sword and just see little, birds flying above at all the enemies' heads, I mean, that would just be funny. I would at least get a kick out of it and be like, oh, well, at least they're not trying to take this game seriously. But, somebody out there is paying these guys bills to keep making these fucking games. I don't know if it's big over in Japan. I don't know if it's big here in America. I don't know anybody who fucking plays these games. All I know is I don't like it. I mean, honestly, I didn't beat this game, people, is because, one, I didn't get through the first campaign. There's 3 separate campaigns of bullshit. I mean, it's just so fucking stupid. Honestly, I picked the guy who seemed like he had the most interesting story, and even his story, it bored my dick off, Nick. I mean, goddamn, this game was, like I said, I played the alright, I've told people this many times. There's games that are just bad, and I can play those games, because at least I can be oh, fuck this game. I'll get that later in one of our other reviews, where I'm playing it, I'm just like, oh, fuck you. But when a game is just boring, I'm just, it takes me 3 times as long, because I don't even want to play it. I'll play it for, play for an hour or so, and then I'll be like, oh god, I gotta go do something else, because I am just wasting my time. And believe me, I've gotten the lectures from other Nicks saying, dude, you don't have to play these games, no one cares. And I'm just like, yes, nobody cares about Dynasty Warriors 8, but there might be that one dude, and he might see our podcast, and he might be like, oh, I wonder what Brandon's thoughts are, and then he'll hate us because I don't like this game. I really just don't like this game. And then I made people, I'm so glad I played this before we did the bloody time, because I made the mistake of, well, I've never played a Dynasty Warriors, I might as well do the tutorial. Don't ever do the tutorial. Oh my god. There was no way for me to get out of it without restarting the game. Like, backing out and going back into it. Like, it was terrible. They're like, now I'm going to teach you how to walk. I'm like, fuck you, game. Really. Unless you made your walking, like, jamming on the A button, then it should play like every other game known in existence, where I use the joystick. I mean, seriously. No one's gonna be like, well, I've never played video games before, and I just bought a PS3. I should try out this Dynasty Warriors, because...
Especially when it's the 8th one out there, you imagine the people who've played all these games would know how it all works, you know?
I literally thought I should, look up the Wikipedia on what the fuck was going on. But then I was like, you know what? Whatever. I don't care. I don't
need a migraine.
I really just don't give a shit. This isn't even fantasy either. I mean, I was saying this, I think I said it on the bloody time, I talked about Kingdom Under Fire. It had a similar, one of the Kingdom Under Fire games on the original Xbox had this sort of gameplay. One, it was actually challenging. Two, you could actually command your troops to do something. So you actually felt like a warrior. You felt like a general on the battlefield. You almost felt like, Russell Crowe's character in Gladiator, when you're in the middle of the battle and you're just fighting enemies off and being like, bring the cavalry in, bring them in, and then they're and you were fighting these giant orcs, demon things, and you were fighting, it was a fantasy game where you played as the humans or elves, you gotta pick factions, of course, and it was fun, it was hard, and maybe it wasn't that hard, I was younger when I played it, so I don't know. But this game is like, oh, you are a Japanese general, and you will fight other Japanese people because they have dishonored you. I'm like, fuck if I care. There's not even fucking samurai in this game. If there was a type of game where I gotta play as, the samurai, and maybe I have to fight off the empire because they're starting to, kind of like Last Samurai style, where I have to fight off the empire because they're selling themselves out or something. That would be awesome. And it wasn't, and it played better, and I didn't knock people out, and it was actually kind of bloody and stuff. I'm basically making a completely different game now. But, it's no surprise to me I didn't like this game, because, honestly, I remember these games always getting terrible reviews. I never heard of anyone being like, what was a really great game, almost game of the year? Dynasty Warriors. I don't know. You got anything you want to ask me about this game?
I think you pretty much covered it.
Oh, dude, oh my god, this game just, it beats the shit out of you, Nick. And this is one of those things where, okay, when we first started the Bloody Screen podcast, I used to kind of assign people games where I'd be like, well, I would play all of them, but then I would say, okay, hey, Nick, you're playing this game, or hey, Scott, you're going to be playing this game, or Dustin, you're playing this game. I am just so glad I didn't have anyone play this game. That's all I could say. I'm really glad I didn't subject anybody to playing this game. I understand that Nick would have played 5 minutes of it and said, yep, I played it. I think Scott did the same thing, because actually, honestly, Scott somehow got screwed over early days of the Bloody Screen, where I kept somehow giving him all the fucking shittiest games.
I just would have fallen on my sword. Just about myself.
Dude, the developers of Dynasty Warriors, you've had over 8 tries. I think there's 12 fucking games out, because they have those spin-off games and all that. You haven't gotten it right yet, guys. I think it's time to fall on your sword. You have failed. You have dishonored the video game. You have dishonored your dog, and it is time for you to end your life. You know what? This game is just bad. It's not bad enough where I say fuck you game, but it's bad. So I'm gonna give this it's gonna get a D. I mean this game is just piss fucking poor. The graphics are shitty. The sound gets annoying. Oh my god. The gameplay is repetitive as fuck, and the overall story just blows. I mean, if it had all that terrible shit and the story was compelling, I would have kept playing. But it had nothing going for it. So yeah, it's a D. It's blander than bland. I mean, granted, it's the biggest game that came out this week or this month because it's the only one that's not some HD collection, really. So yeah, damn, this game sucks. Yeah, D's and damn.
Dynasty Warriors 8,
Yeah,
the game that made us racist and neutered Brandon.
Oh my god! All right, I'm done. We're done. We're not even gonna go off funny. We're just done.